James Brown. Wow. I really dug James Brown. He played at my high school reception dance back in 1968. It was really quite amazing. Today we're going to talk about something very briefly. It's a little book that I put together several years ago called Truth or Tradition. And people are living according to traditions of men, never realizing that that is their obstacle. It's their old wine that Yahuah referred to as the wineskin that has to be renewed. Your wineskin can't hold the new wine. The new wine is pure truth. The old wine is loaded with everything but truth. It's all men's traditions and adopted pagan things, pagan celebrations. This is the contents of the book I want to show you. Oh, what's the Roman Catholic Circus's mark of authority? Anybody know? What is the Catholics' mark of authority? Well, by their own admission, it's the changing of the fourth commandment. They actually modified the commandment and adopted Constantine's solar day, the day of the sun, as the day of rest. They actually modified the commandment. So they say that by this fact, that they changed a commandment instituted from the beginning of creation, that their mark of authority is that, Sunday. And they admit it. You can look it up. Just Google Sunday Catholic mark of authority, and it'll pop up. Anyway, we're going to turn to page, this is page 4, the table of contents. I want to show you this. This is pretty amazing. This is what's in this book. And I'll read these to you really quickly. This is the Eternal Word of Truth, page 3. The Introduction, page 5. The Beginning of the Year, and Night and Day, and what those are. People don't seem to know. They start their day in the middle of the night. And the Shabbat mark. What is the Shabbat mark? Yeah, that's on page 10. Judaizers. What? Well, that was those who observed the seventh-day rest. They were marked for death in 370 and in 321. Trinitarianism, reapers, the KJV. Should we be called Christians or Natsarim? That's what he named us, Natsarim. I am the vine, you are the Natsarim. I'll go with that. I don't even see why we would call ourselves Christians. That's just tradition. Come on. This book will explain it to you too. The Roman circus dogmas. Wow. Okay. The word God, where did that come from? And there's a letter chart, and it goes on. There's a hoax going around on the internet about the Tetragrammaton. And I'd like to just read you the summary too, but before we do that, I want to show you a page, let's see, page 13 I believe it was, maybe 14. There's a whole lot in this book. It'll blow your mind. And this is well researched and provable by any search engines that you want to try. Go to your scriptures and you won't find any of the practices that you're raised in are actually being practiced. You know, they call themselves, what is it? Full gospel. They don't do a thing in that book. I read the book that my pastor recommended to read. It was the NIV at the time. That was back in 1983 and 84. Another century. And it wasn't there. The things that we had in there, and I had a meeting with him, and I sat down with him for about a half hour. And I said, what is it? We're not doing any of these things in the scriptures. That's what we were reading. And they were bouncing around, quoting various things, because they had to dance around the truth. You know, that's what they have to do to make you believe that they're actually teaching you truth. And then there's the Roman Circus dogma timeline. I have a video on my channel that you can look for timeline, and you'll see every single dogma that the circus came up with and what year it happened and what it is. Anyway, the summary of this book is worth investigating. We are Yahushua's body, if we're obeying his commandments. Otherwise, he doesn't even know who we are. Tradition is like an infection in the body. Once established and untreated, it spreads to infect the whole body. If you research every word of Scripture, you will not find any word meaning crescent or sliver. This is just one example. The Catholic display of the consecrated host literally shows the worship of the host of heaven. The monstrance itself is the Latin word to show. It's a device used to cause people to kneel before it. At Matthew 24, verse 26, Yahushua warned us to not believe them if they claimed, "Behold, he is in the inner rooms." Do not believe that. The appointed times primarily involve the new moon, or the new month. The appointed times of Yahuah, that is, at Leviticus 23 and Deuteronomy 16. The new moon is 15 days, or the new month begins 15 days prior to the full moon. The moon independently signals the appointed days. I'll read that again. The moon independently signals the appointed days. It does not inform us about weeks, as some believe. It is assumed by many that the new month is sighted somehow in the western sky at sunset. Scripture doesn't tell us to look for that, but it is a way of confirming it at sunset, because the light of the moon is a crescent on the moon's face, is the evidence of the first fully built day on the moon. So you're really starting the second day of the month. Now, and the people are teaching that the sighted moon, somehow in the western sky at sunset, was used to mark the beginning of each month. Tradition is the source, not Scripture. Rather than following tradition, we need to follow truth. Truth is the mortal enemy of tradition. Traditions are defended zealously. They're hotly defended when opposed as originating in pagan customs. Just check out the origins of Halloween or Christmas or the Bunny Rabbit Festival and even the Day of the Sun. Meeting on Sunday? No, it's not in the Scriptures. They're hotly defended. Okay. We see how the ASHERIM, Christmas trees, or groves, as well as rabbits and eggs, are used to illustrate the attributes of Yahushua. We and Christian pastors know this as syncretism. That's blending foreign ideas, especially religious customs, with new meanings and adopting them. Traditions have origins, and it is important to track those origins to their source. If a teaching is not found in Scripture, why should it be practiced as if it were there? Well, that's just the summing up. There's a whole lot in here that shows you the origins of things like the yoga stance. They're really sitting on a whole stack of serpents. That's what their legs are crossed for. This is a cultural awakening. It's at Amazon.com. And then there's other things we could bring up, but I want to keep this real short. And I hope you have a great day. And I'm learning to do shorter videos because that's all you have time for. And learn from the truth of the scriptures first and test everything because people have lied to you. See you in the next video.